I don't even know who your team is, and my only interest in this is return on investment. I've got no ego about this, and it doesn't excite me to have my name on your t-shirt in any way unless it gives me customers. Matt, you said if the opportunity came up, would you consider owning a sports team? And Matt's asking that because I've just been, I just started watching Ballers season 5 last night. Right, I know very little about sport, but I have actually financed some football teams before. I mean, one I can mention because it was in the press was Hartlepool United. Financed them 2 or 3 times, maybe 3 years ago, 4 years ago. So I have, and I've looked at many other deals to provide financing for either other football teams, other rugby teams, or other sports related situations. And what I can tell you every time is I struggle to see how these people can have any kind of commerciality into it whatsoever. Or every situation I've seen has normally just been, a rich man's plaything effectively. I can't see where the money is. I can't get my head around the valuations. It's normally just people who are absolutely passionate about their sport. A super wealthy business owner who loves football, so he wants to buy a football team or whatever. Because for me, like I say, when I was involved with Hartlepool, the economics of that business were that. Now this was a second division team at the time, League 2, went down after that. But they tried to turn over £2 million. Basically, their budget was if they could turn over £2 million a year, then they would be able to just about break even. And they would then have the youth development team. And if they got one good player who came out of that, they may be able to sell it, transfer them, and make a few £100,000 from that, and that was their profit extra, or their bonus, if you like, as time went on. But they would then try and obviously move up to the next division. But all that happens when you then move, and they'll say, oh well, when we move up to the next division, we get this payment and we get extra revenue, etc. But all that then happens is to stay in that next division, they then have to spend a load more money on wages. Which then ultimately, any extra turnover they're making is then offset against that. I mean, listen, I know this is maybe a slightly oversimplistic answer, and I know when you get to the very, very, very top, like your Man United and stuff, they're obviously very profitable teams. But also, I think if you look at what it costs to buy that profit, to buy that income stream, if the economics of that business were in a non-sexy industry, then the valuations would not be what they were. There is a massive premium put on the valuations of all these teams just for the fact that people love them. And actually, it's funny, Matt, you say, would I be interested in buying a team? Because I'm actually currently negotiating a sponsorship contract for one of my brands with a rugby club at the moment. I can't tell you what it is, but if it happens, I'll tell you over the next couple of weeks and you'll see. But my rule, and effectively my opening line to this rugby club when I started to speak to them was, I don't give a shit about rugby. I don't even know who your team is, and my only interest in this is return on investment. I've got no ego about this. I'm not excited about coming to a rugby match, and it doesn't excite me to have my name on your t-shirt in any way unless it gives me customers. So for me, for sport, that's my answer, that's my attitude.